Good evening, everybody, and welcome into the read. Tonight, I thought we would run the tarot on the Gothic Princess image there. Um, I'm feeling a lot of this moon still. I don't know if any of you have been checking it out, but it looks pretty awesome out there. I saw it last night on the way home, and I just love it. It's that waning crescent, and before too long, we won't even be able to see the moon. And if you've kind of watched the moon over a few nights, and then as it goes into its new moon phase where it just completely disappears, that's kind of a trippy experience. Like a lot of times we don't get out there and check out the moon. We're busy with our lives. But when you do, and then you see that, and you're like, where the hell did the moon go? So anyway. So yeah, I think tonight I'm just going to try to do a general reading, try to pick up on the energy of the cards, and we'll see what takes place. Uh, I'm not sure if you've seen any of the other videos or not, but I built this game and using a Python script. So if you hear me clicking along, it's because each one of these cards, I have an explanation card for them. And I thought, when I built it, I had you guys in mind going, at least whenever I watch tarot reads, I kind of want to know what the cards mean. And I know interpretation is what this is all about, but sometimes I feel like, having a little bit of extra information there is, kind of cool. And maybe, excuse me, you might see something that I don't. So, anyway, so we start off with the Six of Pentacles in the masculine position here. Each position has a kind of a terminology for it, especially in the Kabbalah where they talk about the masculine position right here, the first position, and the feminine position or passive position. And then in this third position here, talking about the transmuting or what you're manifesting position. And then the fourth position talks about the grounding. So when you hear me say those terms, I'll kind of go along and give you an explanation what I mean, but just for heads up. So in the masculine position, we have this balance. The Six of Pentacles talks about balance. Talks about generosity, giving, and excuse me, I'm picking up kind of right off the bat that there's this giving energy, giving to something, and perhaps this in this passive position here. Passive doesn't always have to mean female. It doesn't, have to be gender specific. But let's say that it's more of an energy of this. For instance, let's use the Four of Cups. If you'll notice, this person is kicked back against the tree. So that right there off the bat, the passive position is kind of a kicked back. It's like kind of this letting go. And it does take on the feminine position, or kind of a feminine quality. Let's say more compassionate, more, not as much energy. You don't have to use, brute strength. But for this instance, the Four of Cups talks about these three cups down here at the bottom. You'll notice that, the gaze is upon these three cups, and usually that is talking about maybe some issues that are taking place in your life, something that's, something that's in the forefront. Okay. And the whole time they're focused on these three issues down here, there's an offering that's being made, but you're not paying attention to it. And I know that may sound a little, like I'm put that in your face, but it's just what the cards kind of are talking about. So, and I'm going to guess here that what you might be thinking about is manifesting perhaps a stable life, more money, perhaps. The King of Pentacles is a card of stability, a stability of wealth and abundance and groundedness, kind of this legacy, empire building type strength card. And then you've got this King of Wands in the fourth position that is grounded, which meaning that with this type of focus, would be the outcome, right? But since we're in this passive position, we have these two opposing energies. One is in the focus of one direction, and the other, this more masculine energy, this action energy, seems to be pretty balanced, right? In this generosity type of energy. So really what we want to pay attention to is this Four of Cups. Why is this Four of Cups showing up in these two amazing energies? You know, just as an example, I can give you what the King of Pentacles is, and then also kind of more of this generic version of the King of Wands as well. Let me show you that. We'll go to kind of a, like I said, it's kind of a generic version of it, but King of Wands talks about leadership, vision, and mastery. But it can also talk about, you know, creativity. The four kind of examples down here follow throughout the fire sign. You know, the fire signs are this creative, ambitious action growth type of energy. So that's what it's speaking of. So perhaps in this example, perhaps in this example, you're really focused on a few other things versus the energies that you want to, because we have to consider that in this position, you know, we're trying to solve for this. So then it's followed again by the Ace of Cups in the reversed position. Now, this Ace of Cups in the reverse position talks about emotions. It talks about relationships, partnerships, things like that could be coming into your life. And if I had to guess, I would say that it's probably one of these three here. And it's taking your focus away. And that's usually kind of what the Ace of Cups in the reverse position talks about. So let's look at that one real quick. Healing, emotional disconnect, vulnerability, missed opportunities. Well, you can read here, and like I said, it's just something that's kind of blocked you, taking away your focus on you know, what you would like or what your intentions are. But it's followed by the Hanged Man, and so the Hanged Man really within this, it kind of starts to be a little bit more. When you see the Hanged Man, you know, there's this introspection taking place. And usually it's an emotional introspection. It's you need a deeper wisdom. So you're really thinking hard about this because it puts it in the passive position, which is actually a good position to be in because it's more passive. I would say if the Hanged Man fell in this masculine position, it would mean more of a forced type of energy that you know, you were kind of forced into this introspection. You know, an example might be you've been fussing and feuding and fighting with, let's say, a partner. And I hate to use, you know, kind of negative examples, but it's a pretty good one. And so this fight creates a scenario where, you know, I need, give me some space. I need my hour, my 2 hours, just get away from me. Or, you know, if it evolved into something like that. And so you're angry and you're thinking deep about this. Lots of thoughts start to appear and come up, you know, energies of, you know, what's going on in this relationship. So like I said, it was more of a forced upon you, but it's in the passive position. So that leads me to believe that it's more, this is kind of you've got time to think about this. You've had time to think about this. That's what this is talking about. And it could be relationship wise. Excuse me, I'm drinking coffee. So if you hear me sipping, that's what it's about. Now the next card in line, that kind of also falls right in place with what I was saying with the Hanged Man in that passive position, because the Queen of Wands is grounded in mystery. The Queen of Wands is a kind of a real secretive, intuitive knowing. It's almost like you know something that about a situation that somebody else is not quite aware of. So she has this real sense of awareness about things. She's got this black cat magic, you know. Excuse me. So let's keep going and find out what may be on your mind. You're grounding yourself in something here. Let's find out what what that is talking about, what stability or what boundaries or what limitations here. Aha. So the Six of Cups. We are talking about relationship wise. So I'm going to guess still part of this three of the Four of Cups card. It's one of these three down here that's really got you in your head. But it's talking about nostalgia. It's kind of that youthful spirit, butterflies and kisses and, chasing your sweetie around the playground kind of style, or through the bedroom, down the hall, whatever it is. It's got that real sweet, loving new freshness of to it, because that large cup right there is symbolizing that. So kind of a nostalgia that you're hung up on. You just want to know maybe about a relationship that could take place. I'm not sure. Maybe you're just trying to find balance in between work and or finances and this relationship. So the next slots over here, like I said, in the third turn, we're talking about what you're trying to manifest or what is being manifested in this third turn. So we've got the Ten of Swords, and really, I mean, you could see the card and just say, I kind of figure out, what's going on. There's a death to something, a sudden death. Something has come to a sudden stop, and you've put an end to something. And it's followed by the Three of Wands, and you see the budding staffs there. This is kind of like, if these cups were rewards, let's say, you have earned these rewards. They could be rewards, but they could also be some misalignments in your life or things that took place, but you got control of them. And you can see he's got his hand on one of the staffs there, and it's not quite planted in the ground, but he's holding it and he's looking out saying, there's something else out there for me. And it's kind of this exploration type energy that I'm gonna it could be relationship wise, getting back out in the field again. Maybe you've gone through some kind of a relationship breakup or something, or you've been in your head about finances, and you're making a decision to move forward in something like that. Maybe another job or something. So. What do we got? The Chariot. Okay, so the Chariot, you notice he's in this really majestic looking cart. A lot of people like to say that this is about movement, like moving away. And I haven't really found anything, other than willpower that would be its suggestion. But willpower is movement in a type of sense. But this card is indicative of sheer willpower. And also in spirituality, because his garter and everything that's around him is talking about the spirituality. And you notice the emblem that's on the breastplate here. It talks about the spirituality too. And the stars that are around his head, the crescent moons that are on here, these are all talking about this intuition, spirituality, and basically another type of thing might be that you've moved out of, let's say, a little a type of attitude of where you're no longer accepting of societal views on, let's say, money, for instance. that you've kind of moved away from, and the word is escaping my head right now if you can't tell from all the uhs. But another example of the Chariot is, you'll notice these lions are down at the bottom here. He doesn't hold any reins in his hand whatsoever. So he moves everything by sheer willpower, and that's kind of where I was trying to come with this. So you're manifesting the willpower for a new beginning, And the Death card represents something new in your life, something coming about in the upright position. So in the reversed position, let's see what we got. There's a resistance or a fear of change, holding on, and you're hesitant or avoidant, clinging to the past, perhaps, of something. Now we did see in the in the second turn in the fourth position, we saw the Six of Cups. There was this, nostalgia type card, so it could be reflecting back upon that, perhaps a relationship. And this could be, like I was saying, you've kind of had a scuffle or something, and you're just trying to go, hey, what else is there, something else? And maybe this has been repetitive of a type of thing. This seems very light. The energy's light, but it's kind of like somebody's really needing to make a decision. They maybe have seen this type of attitude before in the cards, or in their life or experience. So then we got the Page of Cups. This could be a younger person we're talking about here. Usually the page is the youthful spirit. The page comes in with an offering. It could be an offering of love. It could be an offering of a partnership, a relationship of some kind. But the Page of Cups in the reversed position, let's take a look at that real quick. Yeah. Immaturity, emotional block. I hate to say that right off the bat. If there's a young person listening, I mean no offense by that, but kind of like this level of, maybe this just happened to you and there's an overreaction. Maybe you're a young couple in love, and maybe something like this happened, and your first big fight, so to speak, and you're feeling a little bit rejected, vulnerable maybe. It does talk about escapism, but I'm not really seeing that right yet. That's not like, not so much yet. Let's look at the World in reverse. The World talks about cycles. It's a major arcana card. So, and it's in the passive position. So I still feel like this really has a tender kind of, heartbroken scenario, kind of, in a way. Not like Three of Swords, heartbroken. I'm not getting that yet, but it's like, maybe that you've seen this cycle. Maybe you're new in this relationship. Maybe it's a newer relationship, and you're just maybe kind of second guessing this relationship. I'm not really sure, but the World in the reverse position. Let's take a look at that. Excuse me. Lack of closure, maybe blocked, disconnection and uncertainty, feeling a little incomplete. I mean, these are all kind of, yeah, like I said, it's not harsh. It just seems like maybe you're seeing red flags or signs, but it doesn't feel like a really hurtful energy yet. So, or anything like that, which is great, right? So the Seven of Wands in the upright position is kind of this warrior stance, he's had a few battles, and like I said before earlier, that these Three of Cups could also be indicative of that. But yeah, it's kind of this guarded energy in the upright position, and this is in the reverse. So let's take a look at the Seven of Wands in reverse. Exhaustion, overwhelmed, giving up, frustration, feeling a little defeated, resistance or doubt. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, I'm still not really feeling a whole lot about that yet, but it still is just a decision, maybe a choice. You're seeing something. Because I keep falling back to the Three of Wands over here. Like I said, you're looking out, and in your first cards were this, you're in a balanced position. That is, that is you taking time for yourself and really looking at this situation. And that is a good thing. But then it's followed by the Seven of Pentacles. Now, the Seven of Pentacles is, let's say, all of these beautiful things that's been in your life that's given you this nostalgic, your happy cups, so to speak, right? This could be relationships. It could be, friends, or, maybe some promotions that you've had in work, or so every one of these are seeds that have sprouted, so to speak. And then you have one that's planted here, but it's kind of like you're just in this patiently waiting scenario, waiting for this to grow and into fruition. But something's not coming into fruition because we're in a reversed position. We'll look at that and see what that card talks about in the reverse position. Impatience, short-term focus. There's a disappointment, a misinvestment maybe, or a delay. Now, the misinvestment, and I'm not really necessarily getting that as far as, if, we did have the King of Pentacles up here, but I feel like it's more like a relationship that you've invested into, because we do have the King of Wands in this energy. And like I said, the King of Wands is kind of that, look at the way he's dressed. He's the bomb, kind of this emotional, the emotional guru. And so I kind of feel like maybe you got one pulled over you, maybe the wool pulled the wool over your eyes type scenario, but I'm not sure here. Let's go ahead and run this again and see if we can tell another story. Okay, King of Cups, an offering. We were talking about a relationship, and there is this dominant energy. Perhaps this King of Cups is you. That you are, we did have the Page of Cups, and you weren't sure maybe that you were going to try and invest any more into this relationship. So this King of Cups is still here with this same type of emotional energy that is just really heightened right now, and followed in the passive position by this Four of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Pentacles is usually talking about, holding on to, it could be anything from hoarding all the way to, emotional hoarding that you've held on to things. And like I said, we did see this youthful, and I like I said, I hate to use the immaturity, but let's just say a younger way of thinking, perhaps, that's, kind of knee-jerk responses, and, not really allowing for relationship energies to just kind of be what they are temporarily, and sometimes a relationship, they can explode over something really simple or silly. At least at the time, it doesn't seem that way, but then you can look back on it, and go, that was so stupid. But it appears that something you're hanging on to, and there's, this moving away out of the city here is kind of showing me like there's this, maybe you might be moving away from this materialistic kind of view of things. And that could be anything from, finances to, I don't have to have the fancy thrills and whistles and bells that, I would just really wish for, as part of this Four of Cups that we saw, I would really just wish for this offering to be from this King of Cups, and this could be either from a, non-gender specific. So it doesn't matter. The offering just coming in from a particular situation. So, but there is a manifestation that you are working towards in this. You want to know an answer to it, and the third position talks about it. And it looks like you're getting the energy of moving away from something. This is either emotional. It could talk about emotional baggage. It could talk about emotional healing, emotional insecurities that you're moving away from. And the Hermit is shining the light on this, saying that you are grounding in this, saying that I feel like maybe I need to move out of this choppy water and into more calmer waters. And that could be That is kind of what I'm seeing so far. You've kind of gotten to a stalemate, maybe a stagnant position in this relationship or whatever it is. Perhaps with finances and with, we did see the 10 of Swords over here, that you're putting an end to it. I feel like the reason this death is over here is because you're uncertain. You have some uncertainty, and the death card, like I said, talks about a new beginning of something. So I really feel like you're moving into this new beginning, because the Hermit's shining a light on this and saying, hey, it looks like it's time to move, time to make a move, whether that's away from this emotional feelings that you've had, or it could be, the broken heart. The Three of Swords, it is what it is. It's gray skies. It's hurt and pain. There could be emotional. We did see that right here in the the Six of Swords. With a lot of times it talks about an emotional instability of some kind. Some childhood wounding. It could be relationships and things like that. But it's followed by another kind of an opposite energy here of the Two of Pentacles in the reverse position. Let's look at that. See what it says. There's an imbalance, financial strain, neglect, instability, poor prioritization, chaos, stress, and inflexibility. So somebody's not reciprocating in something. There's no sharing in this. It seems like I'm the only one getting hurt here, kind of thing, is what I'm getting at. And so that's why I said in this opposite kind of energy that it feels as though that you're the one taking the brunt end of the stick. And I hate to use that, because that's just such an old terminology of a male chauvinist pig type energy. And I don't like that, but yeah, it's kind of like somebody's not seeing your sufferings. And now that I think you need to move on. I think you need to move from this situation, because I'm not really getting that there is a reciprocating type of energy yet. We've got the Seven of Swords, could talk about healing, and then it's followed in by the Devil card, which talks about, what you've been chained to. And it looks as though that, the Seven of Swords in the upright position talks about kind of this sneaky vendetta, just doing what you can to get someone back. It's really got a vindictive kind of energy to it, but in the reverse position here, I think it's kind of a healing type of energy. So let's look at that one real quick and see what it says. Confession and accountability, a truth, an exposure. So something's coming to light here, a revelation, and holding on to your integrity. I feel like integrity here is really what this is talking about. It's saving your integrity, and believe me, followed by the Devil. That's perfect, because you're standing up for yourself. And I feel like, this is a really good place to stop this, because, I saw the Devil in the end right there, and I'm thinking to myself, whoever this is for, this energy is really just kind of a validation for you, saying you didn't need validation from that partner or that person or that relationship, whatever it is that's taking place. I think you're doing it yourself. We saw the Hermit card, and maybe this is just confirmation that, am I doing the right thing? Would I be doing the right thing? Only you will know that answer, but I feel like you're in that position where you've really been searching within. I'm surprised we didn't see any more major arcana on that. We did see the Chariot, and that is spiritual transformation. It's moving away out of kind of the collective societal view, and more into your spiritual intuition self. That's a beautiful reading. And I wish I could just go on and say, and you lived happily ever after. But actually you're the one that's going to choose that. And I think what you're doing is choosing yourself. And that to me is the most beautiful part. I mean, that is the lesson that everybody could learn from here in this situation. So if this applies to you, I would say that the gods have spoken, right? You know, I mean, the tarot cards teach us how to introspect, and the devil card showed us that. I think you're absolutely seeing um, something maybe before the calm before the storm, and it could get worse, you know. But by seeing yourself move out of the rough waters and into the calmer waters, that to me just tells me that I think you're looking out for yourself, and that's the most important thing in this world. We can't be true lovers, we can't be true friends, and we can't be true confidant partners and relationships unless, you know, we truly love ourselves. And that doesn't mean that you have to be the only one, excuse me, doing all the work all the time. That is just that is unrealistic, and it is hurtful and painful. And you deserve better than that. So hey, I hope you like the reading. I really like sometimes just doing a out of the blue general reading like that, just to kind of get what energies are out there. I've had some other readings that were didn't turn out so beautiful in kind of like a lesson learned scenario as this one. But that's life, right? Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down, and sometimes things are messy. We have to claim who we are. We have to claim every bit of it, even the messy sides, you know, in life, and accept it. It's us. It's who we are. And this fairy tale vision of life is sweet and grand and everything's perfect is an illusion. And I hope that you don't buy into that. So I hope you continue to come back. Let's read the cards together. Let's learn them together. And anyway, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to join the channel, join. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Okay. All right. Bye.